Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, in this video I want to talk a bit more about the gender wage gap myth and the factors that cause it that feminists tend to ignore. Now, as some of you may remember, I did a video on this last month, but I was a bit more general in that video. I'm going to go a bit deeper into three areas that have a big impact on it, and that is the gender workplace hours gap, the gender workplace safety gap, and the gender interest gap. Now, on that video last month, I was asked in the comments to respond to a video on the workplace hours gap from the Australian Liberal Democrats channel. And that video, which I had seen previously, is actually really good. But there's actually another part. There's another video on that channel that talks about the safety gap as well. So I thought I might as well talk about the two of them. If you guys want to watch those videos, I'll leave the links to them in the description box down below. So let's get into it. First off, the gender workplace hours gap. Now, I'm going to speak in kind of generalities here, but these generalities are generally true. In general, men work full-time more than women, and women work part-time more than men. And full-time work tends to get paid more than part-time work. And so this causes women to get paid less on average, which contributes to the wage gap. Now, even if you just focus on full-time workers, statistics showed that women work 7% less hours than men. Did a little bit of calculations on the salary for my job, and that means a difference of around €30 per week, which isn't that much in our week itself, but that builds up over time. So next up is the gender workplace safety gap. Men tend to work in more dangerous jobs, such as on oil rigs and in construction. And in those jobs, the likelihood of serious injury and even death are higher than normal office jobs. And this actually shows quite prevalently in the fatality statistics of the workplace, where men are 93% of workplace fatalities. Now, of course, if you're more likely to get injured, you tend to get paid more. And so this factors into the wage gap as well. Now, the trick with this is that in terms of figuring out the difference, it's actually harder to quantify. It is hard to know how much of the gap is caused by this, which does cause a bit of a problem. Now, one of the biggest things when it comes to the wage gap is the gender interest gap. Men and women have different interests. Men tend to be more interested in things, and women tend to be more interested in people. Now, this is a biological difference that is scientifically proven by several studies on young babies. There was actually one study where they studied 1-day-old babies, which means that no cultural or societal differences have been formed yet, and it still showed a significant difference in interest. Now, this results in men and women making different career choices when they grow up. Let's take a look at some of those choices. Let's take a look at the 5 highest paying majors and the 5 lowest paying majors. Now, this is from a Georgetown University study which measured which are the highest paying majors and which are the lowest paying majors, and the ratio of men and women studying in those fields. So first off, the 5 highest paying majors. Number 1, petroleum engineering, 87% male. 2, pharmaceutical sciences, 48% male. Mathematics and computer science, 67% male. Aerospace engineering, 88% male. And chemical engineering, 72% male. Notice women only outnumber men in one of the 5 by only a few percentage points. Now let's take a look at the 5 lowest paying majors. Number 1, counselling and psychology, 74% female. Number 2, early childhood education, 97% female. Number 3, theology and religious vocations, 66% male. Number 4, human services and community organisation, 81% female. And finally, social work, with 88% female. Notice men only outnumber women in one of those fields. And also, if you look at those fields, that difference in interest, things versus people, show up again. When it comes to the highest paying majors, petroleum engineering, computer science, aerospace engineering, chemical engineering, these are all things. The lowest paying majors, counselling and psychology, early childhood education, human services, social work, all people orientated. So there is a serious gap in the interest, and that gap shows what people choose to do, because they'll do what they're interested in. Now, one thing I will say, early childhood education and counselling and psychology, I do think they should be paid more, because I've met some psychologists, I've met some counsellors, I've met some early childhood educators, and they work exceptionally hard, and they're not easy jobs. So I am of the opinion they should earn a lot more than they do. And of course, social workers. Look at the current crisis. So they should definitely be earning more as well. So to conclude, the more you dig into the different factors of the wage gap, like the different interests, the different career choices, and the difference in hours between men and women, the more you understand that it's actually, these factors are quite reasonable. when you look at them and understand them. At the end of the day, it's the differences between men and women that are the causes of the wage gap. Those differences are what make men and women unique. And those differences in society complement each other. That's why our society works. So what do you think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. And if you like the content that I make, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified on my latest videos. There are unique differences between men and women. And these lead to different paths to happiness. There are exceptions, yes, but in general, that's how the world works. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.